Good morning, students. So today we are going to discuss about the season which takes place on the earth, that is season on the earth. So there are basically four main types of seasons: winter season, summer season, spring season and the autumn. But how does this happens? So let us see in the next page. Here it is written that the four seasons: the spring, the winter, the summer, and the autumn. So here it is written about the June solstice and the December solstice, then the March equinox and the September equinox. Do you know what is June solstice and the December solstice? Now first let me clear you all about that. How does the earth rotate? Earth rotates on its axis and it take the revolution on the all over the sun. And when earth is closer to the sun, we have the equinox. That means when sun is just above the equator. That is when the earth is closer to the sun, and we have when and that condition the sun is just overhead at the equator. So that's why we have the 22nd March and the 22nd September, the equinox. Equinox means equal day and night. Why? Because earth is closer to the sun and sun is directly facing above the equator. So March equinox means the spring season and the September equinox means the autumn season, the starting of the autumn season. Whereas June solstice means the beginning of summer season in northern hemisphere. Why? Because the sun is facing the Tropic of Cancer and also the North Pole is slightly tilted toward the sun. And June solstice and the December solstice takes place when Earth is farthest from the sun. So June solstice starts in 22nd June and 22nd June will have the longest day. So in the northern hemisphere we have the June, July and August, the summer season, and in the southern hemisphere June, July and August will we have the winter season. Whereas the December solstice, that means when the Tropic of Capricorn is facing the sun. So when sun is overheading, just it is overheading the Tropic of Capricorn and the south pole is tilted toward the toward the sun, then in that condition that takes place in December. In December we have the winter season in the northern hemisphere, that is December, January, February. Whereas in the southern hemisphere December, January, February will we have the summer season. So in this way we have the different season. So you can see the equinox takes place when earth is nearer to the sun and solstice takes place when earth is farthest from the sun. So let us proceed to the next page. Equinox, March 21, when sun is over equator, that is the beginning of spring season. Solstice, December 21, when sun is over Tropic of Capricorn. So we have the winter season in the northern hemisphere, that is the December, January, February, and the southern hemisphere will have the summer season in December, January, February. Equinox, September 21, the sun is over equator, so we have the autumn season. And in the June 21, when sun is over Tropic of Cancer, that means the northern hemisphere will have the summer season. And on June 21, the longest day, and on December 21, the shortest day. And in the June, July and August, the northern hemisphere will have the summer season, whereas the southern hemisphere will have the winter season. So in this way we have the different climates, season. So let us proceed to the next page, that is page given in your book 105. Season on the earth. Contrary to the popular belief that the earth is closer to the sun in the summer and farthest from the sun in the winter, this is only a myth. That means this is not a story. So it is true that earth orbits is not a perfect circle. It is elliptical, slightly oval. not circle, not circle in the form of circle. So there is a different reason for Earth's season. So what is the different reason? Earth, Earth's axis is an imaginary line facing, going right through the center of the Earth parallel to longitude. That means from top to bottom. This is the longitude. So in this way, we have the axis also passing from the North Pole to the South Pole. And on this axis, the Earth spin around this pole, making one complete turn each day. So our Earth has season because its axis does not stand up straight. It is slightly tilted. How? 23 point. It is slightly tilted just like this. So on the pole, the Earth is slightly tilted and it is rotating on its axis. So in this way we have as Earth orbits the Sun, its tilted axis always point in the same direction. Subsequently, different areas of the Earth points toward or away from the Sun at different times of the year. Around June 21, we have the summer solstice. Summer solstice means the longest day and the shortest night. Whereas this takes place in the northern hemisphere. So in the northern hemisphere we have the summer season in June, July and August. Why? Because the sun is facing just above the Tropic of Cancer and North Pole is slightly tilted toward the sun. That's why the northern hemisphere will have the summer season. So this is why June, July and August are the summer season month in the northern hemisphere. It is written here. Around June 21, the North Pole is tilted toward the sun and the northern hemisphere. Then get more of the sun direct light. Whereas 22nd December, 22nd December is here, it is written here, the 22nd December, the sun, the southern hemisphere points away from the sun, creating winter during the month of June, July and August. So summer is in the southern hemisphere, is in December 21, December, January and February, when the south pole is tilted towards the sun and the northern hemisphere will have tilted away. So in December, January, February, the southern hemisphere will have the summer season and the northern hemisphere will have the winter season. So in this way we have the different season. So I think you all have understood how the season takes place on our earth. Now come to the activity. Activity is given to comprehend, to explain the cause of season on the earth. Materials required: rubber ball, push pin, marker, a bulb and a stick. Draw a circle around the middle of the ball to represent the equator and dots on the north pole and the south pole. So what means you have to draw a circle on the middle of the ball, that is representing the equator, dividing just like a diameter. Then push the stick through the center so as to join the two poles. That means from top to bottom you will push the stick, making the two poles, the north pole and the south pole. This represents the axis of the earth. Then you will place a pin representing a person midway between the equator and the north pole, and also another between the equator and the south pole. So remember, earth equator always divide the earth into two parts, that is north and the south. So above we have the different parts, the Tropic of Cancer and the Arctic Circle, and the south we have the Tropic of Capricorn and the Antarctic Circle. Light the bulb and place it on the center of your table. Now move the earth around the bulb at a tilted axis. Tilted means 23.45 angle. Make sure the tilt does not change while moving. Only the ball will rotate. So what you will see, at the beginning of the movement, the pushpin was in the northern hemisphere and the another pushpin was in the southern hemisphere. But after moving half the orbit, the opposite you will see. The pushpin which was in the southern hemisphere will come in the northern, and the pushpin which was in the northern hemisphere will come to the southern hemisphere. In this way, our earth also spin around the axis, making the different days and night and also the season. So what happened when sun's directly on the person on the top of half of the earth? When the sun shines directly on the person. So if the sun shines directly on the person, then we will have what? Now in that case, we will have the summer for the northern hemisphere, and you will also notice at this time the person in the southern hemisphere will have the least sun rays, indirect sun rays, so representing winter. That's why in June, July, and August, the northern hemisphere will have the summer season, whereas the southern hemisphere will have the winter season. And in December, January, February, the northern hemisphere will have the winter season, and the southern hemisphere will have the summer season. So as you move the Earth half away along its orbit, the situation reverses, representing winter in the northern and summer in the southern hemisphere. So 22nd March and the 22nd September determines the equinox, equal day and night, having spring and autumn, whereas 22nd June summer solstice and 22nd December, that is the winter solstice. That means summer solstice, the summer season will take place in the northern hemisphere when the Tropic of Cancer will overhead the sun, and this is the longest day of the southern and northern hemisphere, whereas on 22nd December we have the shortest day, and we have the winter season in December, July, and so December, January, February, whereas in the southern hemisphere they will have the summer season, that is in December, January, and February. So in this way we have the summer, winter, and the spring and the autumn. Now come to the checkpoint. The season are the result of the rotation of the axis, earth axis. The earth axis is tilted by 23.45 degree angle. Since the axis is tilted, the different part of the earth are faced toward the sun at different times of the year. During the month of the June, sun rays falls directly on the northern hemisphere. This result in the summer season in the northern hemisphere and the winter season in the southern hemisphere. In this way you will write the checkpoint. That's all for today.